Who doesn't love an apple pie? I'm going to show you how you can always be ready to make one in a jiffy with a dehydrated apple pie filling pack. All you need is a dehydrator and some apples, then you can vacuum seal it or store it in a glass jar. Let's head into the kitchen so I can show you how.
Welcome back to the kitchen. Today I am going to show you how to make dehydrated apple pie packs because they're really easy. They take up a lot less space in your freezer than an actual pie does. They are also taking up less space than a canned pie filling, and you can have them on hand to make an apple pie whenever your little heart desires. Or I don't know, maybe you've got somebody coming over and you're like, oh, I need to give you a little gift. Nothing picks people up like an apple pie, am I right? So it's very simple. The tools that you're gonna need are a dehydrator. I've got mine here. You're going to need a knife and a peeler, or if you're lucky enough like I am to own an apple peeler core slicer, this is gonna do the whole job for you. Now my recipe calls for 8 cups of apples peeled and sliced to make one pie. So I'm gonna make one pie with you this time, and then you can just multiply this for however many trays you have in your dehydrator and however many pies you wanna make. Really, really simple, so let's get started. Now, when you're making an apple pie, maybe you care about what kind of apples you go in there, maybe you don't, it all depends. Most people, if you're a purist, are going for Granny Smith, or you can look for a variety of different types. Romas are good, John Golds, and Honey Crisp. So what I'm doing is I'm doing a mix of Granny Smith and Cortland. The Granny Smith people really like because they really hold their shape well. They cook well, but they're still kind of defined. They don't mush up into like applesauce inside your pie. Like I said, I like to do a mix so that you've got a bit of both. So at this point, really simple. You're gonna peel, core, and slice these apples so that you've got 8 cups worth. So I've got my 8-cup bowl, and I'm gonna be using my apple peeler slicer core. I freaking love this thing. And the way that it works is you can attach it to the edge of your counter here. It's got like a clamp to it. And then you put your apple on this and give it a good like doodly doot. You give it a good, yeah, you know what I'm talking about. And it does all the work at one time. If you've never seen one of these in action, they're freaking amazing. So I'll give you a quick peek. Doo-doo. All right, so it's all set up here. I've just clamped it to the counter, and now you're not gonna see me. You're gonna watch these apples be turned into amazingly peeled, cored, and sliced apples all in one. Check this out. Come on, tell me this is not the coolest thing you have ever seen. Peeled, cored, sliced apples, ready to go into the bowl. Let's keep on keeping on until we've got 8 cups worth. Okay, there we go. Apples are peeled, cored, and sliced. It's about a dozen apples to do this. So at this point, what I'm gonna do is I'm literally just gonna cut them in half. See how nice that is? See how perfect that is? And there will be some near the top that still have some peel. If that bothers you, take it off. If it doesn't bother you, don't worry about it. I dehydrate the ones that still have a bit of peel on them, and we just snack on them. Alrighty, so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna throw a bit of lemon juice on them to keep them from getting too brown before I pop them in the dehydrator. So I just do one of these, guys. It's nothing fancy. It's just put a bunch in and then squirt, put some more in, give them a squirt, massage them around a little, pretend they've had a hard day, you know. Okay, so it's now dehydrator time. Really simple. This is all you gotta do. So grab your dehydrator. Doesn't matter what type you have. You just wanna have one that has like a temperature gauge on it, because different things need to be dehydrated at different temperatures. Things that have meat in them are at 160, whereas if you're doing something that like an herb, it's really delicate, you're looking more 95 to 110 degrees Fahrenheit. For fruits and vegetables, it's about 125 to 135 Fahrenheit. So this is why I love this. It's got a temperature gauge on it, and it actually says right beside, underneath here, it says the temperatures that you need for each thing. So I've also added these flexible mats, which you can buy separately from your dehydrator. So at this point, guys, it's just this simple. I am going to carefully put all of these apples onto the trays, just like that, and get ready to dehydrate them. Now, if you want to put like a bit of cinnamon or anything on here, you can totally do that at this point, but I'm gonna show you how to put the spice pack together to go for the whole pie after these are all dehydrated. So I'm gonna totally leave that up to you. You can do whatever makes you happy. All right, all of the apples are now nicely placed on my dehydrator trays. They will shrink, of course, as they dry, so don't worry about them touching each other. The closer they are, the longer it might take for them to dry, so that's why, generally speaking, you kind of don't want to overlap them. They will even stick together because they are apples and they're kind of sticky. But now they are ready to go and lie down here and have a relaxing, warm air, you know, repose is, I don't know how you want to call that, but that's how I'm calling it. I like to think that they're just like chilling out and going like, yeah. So this time tomorrow, they should be nice and dehydrated, and we'll finish putting together the apple pie packs. Dehydration in progress. Because the fan motor can be a little bit annoying, I usually do my dehydrating in my laundry room of all places, but I've got an awesome laundry room, so I can totally do that. You might want to place it you know, just somewhere where it's not going to bug you. But I find that the apples take me generally overnight. So we're going to check on them again tomorrow and see how lovely and dry they are and see if they're ready to pack up. All right, so now it's time to put together the apple pie seasoning pack. So this is the sugar, the flour, and the spices that turn apples into apple pie. It wouldn't be the same without it. So what I'm doing is I'm putting this together. I'm gonna put them in a baggie, and then I'll put the baggie at the bottom of the vacuum seal bag that we'll put the apples on top of. This way we'll have everything you need to make an apple pie, with the exception of the crust, in one spot. All right, here we go. So the recipe calls for 3/4 of a cup of packed brown sugar. Then to that, we're gonna add 3/4 of a cup of white sugar. Follow it up by 1/2 cup of flour, and I'm using my 1/4 cup measurement here, so I need to put 2 of these in. Now it's time to bring on the spice. I like my apple pies very cinnamony, so I am using a heaping teaspoon of cinnamon in mine. Nice and heaping. Follow that up by 1/2 teaspoon of nutmeg. And last but not least, 1/4 teaspoon of sea salt. Now just whisk it together to incorporate these ingredients, and you'll be able to put this in a plastic baggie in minutes. It's been several days now since I took my apples out of the dehydrator and then put them in a glass jar for conditioning. And again, all conditioning is making sure that these are really dry, that there's no residual moisture left in them so that they are shelf stable for long-term stability. That's what we're looking for. So when you put your dehydrated product in a glass jar, you want it there for about 7 days or so, maybe 10 depending, and you're just gonna go by and shake it every day. Keep it out of direct sunlight. What you're looking for are signs of moisture. If you see any condensation in the jar, then something's not quite dry in there. So you can put it back in the dehydrator for a couple of hours just to make sure. At this point, my apples conditioned for 7 days. They're still nice and crispy. They're fantastic. They are perfect for long-term storage. So how do I put together this pie filling for long-term storage to make it easy? Well, here is that flour and sugar and spice mix. And I'm just gonna vacuum seal it all into a bag. So I've made my bag. I'm gonna pop this seasoning mix down in the bottom. And now I'm just gonna take these apples and I'm gonna see, yeah, this is it, guys. Just pop them in the bag. This way, everything is together in one spot, and when it's time to make the pie, you just have one bag to open. So I'm gonna kinda see if I can get them to settle a little bit more, maybe put some more down this side. And then it's all about vacuum sealing. So my vacuum sealer can be a little finicky. Let's hope that this goes through on the first try. Our fingers crossed, mine are crossed. Let's find out what happens. There we go, it worked, yay! And this is it, guys. This is my dehydrated apple pie filling. So all of the spices we need are here. All of the apples we need for a one pie are in here. This is really great. So how do you make it happen? When it's time to make the pie filling, what you'll do is you'll open up your bag, you'll put your apples in the bowl, and then you'll rehydrate them. You can do that with water. You can do that with apple cider or apple juice. You can even change up the flavor a little bit by maybe adding cranberry juice to rehydrate them. There you go, a little extra something something in your pie. Now, when they come out after they've been vacuum sealed together, yes, they're all gonna stick together like this. That's because, well, they're apples, the natural sugars in them, they just wanna stick to each other. But you know what, don't worry about it, because as soon as you put those in a liquid, they are going to come apart and rehydrate beautifully. So I just put some boiling water in this bowl and added a couple of those stuck together dehydrated apples, and look, they're all within seconds, they came apart, they're rehydrated, they're ready to go. So you can drain off any excess moisture and then add in your flour and sugar and spice mix, stir it all up, put it in your pie crust, and bake. It's really simple. These don't take up a whole lot of room in your pantry. You can make a whack of them if you want to, and they're also really nice gifts. Go and buy a frozen pie shell, add this to it with the instructions, and then you can give this to somebody who might be needing a little extra something sweet. You know, what a nice gift. What a housewarming gift, new baby gift, any of those sorts of things. I just like you, so I thought you could use a pie gift. International Pie Day. There's a million reasons for you to make a pie. And now there is another way for you to make an apple pie filling. If you like the video, be sure to give it a like and subscribe to the channel because I'm always doing something here in the kitchen and I love to share that with you. So until next time, have some fun in the kitchen. Enjoy your pie.